The origin of all physical sciences can be traced back to mathematics. That is why mathematics is considered to be the mother of all these disciplines. In its early days, mathematics consisted of arithmetic, counting with numbers, geometry, measurement of areas, and algebra, calculating by means of symbols and their relationships. This enabled ancient people to think, to reason and express themselves in a precise way. According to historians, counting was familiar to both ancient Egyptians and Babylonians. The Chinese and Indians also used their own ways of counting, just as the Arabs used the position of their fingers to count during the time of the Prophet of Islam. Like Greeks and Romans before them, the Arabs also used their alphabets for counting, that is, until the advent of Arabic numerals. The zero-based number system was known to the ancient Indians, but it was the Arabs who invented the word zero. It comes from the Arabic sifar, meaning nothing or nil. It was the early Arab mathematicians who developed a decimal system, which is known as the Arabic numerals. At a time when they were performing complex mathematical equations in their research centers in Baghdad, Damascus, and Cairo, the Europeans were struggling to perform simple calculations using Roman numerals. The introduction of Arabic numerals, therefore, represented nothing short of a major revolution in the study of mathematics. In fact, the early Muslim mathematicians not only developed but also refined the entire discipline of mathematics for the benefit of humanity. Al-Khwarizmi was one of them. His scholarship had such a profound influence on Western science and technology that he became known as algorithm across Europe. Throughout the centuries, his Latin name became synonymous with the word arithmetic in the Western world. Today, algorithm refers to a technique used in computer science for carrying out analysis using recurring methods. But who was algorithm? Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, better known as algorithm, was born in the Central Asian province of Khorasan. It became a thriving center of commerce and scholarship under Abbasid patronage. Schools and colleges were built across the province. Both the religious and scientific subjects were taught and studied by some of the leading scholars and thinkers of the day. Born into a learned family, Al-Khwarizmi grew up on the outskirts of Baghdad. He attended local schools and received instruction in Arabic and religious sciences. This was followed by advanced training in literature, poetry, theology, and philosophy. The gifted students were then encouraged to study medicine, astronomy, alchemy, and mathematics. Al-Khwarizmi was one of them. He soon mastered the religious, philosophical, and scientific knowledge of the time. Soon the Abbasid ruler Al-Ma'mun invited him to join his celebrated Baytul Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, in 820. He was around 40 at the time. Originally founded by Harun al-Rashid, the Baytul Hikmah became one of the Muslim world's most famous research centers. However, Al-Ma'mun recruited the leading philosophers, scientists, and mathematicians to his institute. As expected, Al-Khwarizmi occupied a prominent position in Baytul Hikmah. Here he studied and researched astronomy, geography, history, music, and mathematics, which was his most favorite subject. Impressed by his skills and abilities, Caliph al-Ma'mun personally asked Al-Khwarizmi to lead the Department of Astronomy. He excelled and made pioneering contributions in a number of subjects including mathematics, geography, and history. According to some historians, his quest for knowledge even took him to India, where he mastered Indian science and mathematics. It was during his stay in India that he became familiar with the zero-based decimal system for the first time. In addition to studying Sanskrit, he discovered that the ancient Indians used an empty space to denote nothing, or nil, sunya. Thus the Arabic word cipher, meaning nothing, just as its Latin equivalent, cifrium, later came to mean zero, was coined. According to other historians, he did not visit India. He became familiar with Indian sciences from manuscripts which were available in Baghdad at the time. Either way, his discovery of the concept of zero enabled him to lay the foundations of a new decimal system, which is today widely known as Arabic numerals. And in so doing, he revolutionized the study of mathematics forever. After systematically analyzing geometric algebra of the Greeks and the arithmetic algebra of the Indians, he researched Babylonian algebra. His mastery of past contributions enabled him to develop his own ideas and thoughts on the subject. In fact, the word algebra comes from the title of his book on the subject, namely Kitab al-Mukhtasar fi Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala. In this book, he systematically defined and developed algebra for the first time. It was later translated into Latin by Robert of Chester. Divided into 5 chapters, in this book the author systematically examined and analyzed different dimensions of algebra. Al-Khwarizmi's work in the field of arithmetic and algebra was of such a high standard that he became a pioneer. He also wrote a separate book on arithmetic which became hugely influential. It was translated into Latin in 1157. It became a popular textbook on the subject throughout medieval Europe. A copy of this translation is still available in Rome to this day. The book also introduced Arabic numerals and the concept of zero into the Western world for the first time. In so doing, it popularized the application of basic arithmetic into everyday life. Without Al-Khwarizmi's seminal contributions, Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, Newton, and others would not have been able to make their contributions in astronomy, physics, and mathematics. Thanks to Al-Khwarizmi, today man can travel to space, fly airplanes, watch satellite television, and also count up to a zillion without any problems or difficulties. By revolutionizing the study of mathematics, he completely revolutionized our vision of ourselves and, indeed, our vision of the future for the benefit of whole humanity. Al-Khwarizmi also excelled in astronomy and geography. When Caliph al-Ma'mun requested him to measure the meridian, he achieved this by inventing a new astronomical device. In fact, he not only accurately measured the sphere of the Earth, but also suggested ways in which the process could be made easier in the future. Towards the end of his life, he authored a book on geography entitled Kitab Suratul Ard. In this book, he corrected Greek misconceptions on the subject. This book marked the beginning of the science of geography in the Muslim world. Al-Khwarizmi authored more than a dozen books on all the sciences of his time. He died at the age of 67 and was laid to rest in Baghdad.